Brown?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I also want to reiterate some of my colleagues' statements. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for coming down to sit with me. You answered some pretty hard questions. But I still have some concerns. I guess, what has Wells Fargo done to address the discriminatory lending patterns that, you all have dealt with or been accused of for over a decade?
There have been accusations, and I appreciate that question. Thank you. While there have been some accusations of that, I believe that when these have been worked out in case law and otherwise, we found that Wells Fargo has actually supported all communities of diversity. That is one of the pillars of Wells Fargo's philosophy. It is an area where we make a very concerted effort to lend to the low and moderate income communities around the country. And sometimes there is a higher amount of low income diverse communities within that. And we do everything that we can to support those and to extend more loans specifically to that area to address those. But it is an area that is monitored very carefully, both by the bank and federally, to ensure that those kind of discriminatory practices are
unfounded.
Largely, they've proven to be unfounded within the community. It's something that we always look at and always make sure that it's a training that happens with each of our employees every single year.
So even the accusations that you all have admitted to, I mean, from what I read in my research, it did affect low-income communities. Obviously, some of those practices are going to affect people with less money differently than it would people with more money. Low-income communities, a lot of people of color. So, I mean, from my standpoint, all of that stuff relates, and, I would prefer to see, really owning it. Yeah. Because this is something that is very well, it's been documented in minority communities and low-income communities. And the fact that I appreciate the donations, but based on some of the numbers I've read, I mean, it's just a penny, and, it's really nothing. I mean, so for me, I do have some concerns going forward. I mean, I would love to hear how you all are addressing that at front, right? Because to me, that amounts to redlining. And, I understand that we as a city have to, it'll cost us $400,000 to transfer. Well, my question is, I mean, if we're living our ethics, I mean, is there a certain number that we would finally say, I mean, what would a company have to do for us to eat a bill? I mean, because I think some of the things we've seen from you all, I don't know. I mean, it's been pretty bad in my opinion. And I would like to see us as a city kind of, as they say, use our dollars to say where we stand and just talking about it, but then continue to go with a bank that has shown predatory practices towards low-income communities and working-class families is extremely concerning.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I did not bring with me the detailed information on that. I would be happy to send that over to you. To talk a little bit about what we have done. There have been some situations that we have encountered over the years, and we did actually make a settlement to restore any wrongdoing or any instances where that has come up in the past. So I would be happy to forward some information to you and give you a more complete response on that.
And I think there was a little bit of, I don't know, how much do you all give per year towards community events in Vallejo?
So over the last 5 years, we've done about $200,000 in donations from the foundation.
So that's, okay, it's about $40,000. Can we up that to $100,000 a year? Straight up.
The bank very much wants to partner even closer with the city and identify the most urgent needs and be an even larger partner in meeting the needs here of the nonprofit organizations and supporting the city of Vallejo. So yes, I think we can commit to that.
You can commit to $100,000.
To $100,000? I don't have the power to commit to that, but I can commit that we will.
That's what we're asking. I mean, we'd like to, get a hard commitment from you all. I think because to a certain extent, we're showing a lot of faith in you to continue to work with you, and we'd like to see you, show that same amount of faith. 100,000, it's not that much compared to the money you make.
Yes, and I appreciate that. I am not at liberty to speak for the foundation. We do keep our business apart from the foundation, so I'm not able to buy the city's business, so to speak, but we absolutely will have those discussions and make sure that we are actively engaged in the community and giving as much as we can.
So, I take pride on working with Wells Fargo.
Yeah, we need to get it on.
Hello. I'm using this platform of a big corporation in order to give back and make an impact and difference to the community that I live in. I bought my house here in Vallejo 2 years ago. I'm 31. I represent the millennial and the minority, and I know that we have committed to $60 billion in home ownership for African American community till 2025, and $125 billion for the Hispanic community. So we are making an effort to make a difference to our minority groups, such as the African American, the Hispanic, and the Asian. I actually serve as a board for the Asian real estate group, where our group tries to reach the gap of the minority Asians and others and into home ownership. So I really appreciate Council Member Hakeem Brown for your question, because we're, as Wells Fargo, we strive in not just owning to our mistakes, but also going above and beyond in
So, I hear what you're saying. So that's a lot of money spent. Is that money spent? That's for the state of California, for the United States?
It is for the United States, and what I can tell too personally for the Vallejo market is Ben and I, we go to the small businesses, such as, relatively small business, Six Flags, the mom and pops, high school, colleges, union member groups, to provide financial education, whether it's credit building, saving money, home ownership, and I think these are unquantifiable for now, but it has some positive effects on helping an individual, their family, in building their family's economy, and hopefully will translate to the economy of Vallejo.
So that leads to my obvious question is it possible before we get an agreement done to talk to higher ups about, I'd like to know, a specific amount of money earmarked for Vallejo businesses, possibly doubling the amount of money you all give per year?
Can we triple it? I'm not going to commit to that yet, but I bet we will make a commitment to talk to the foundation, get our voices heard. Okay. Just like you guys are I'm very impressed with today's meeting, since you are the leader of our community and you are very open to hear our resident stories. And so as with Wells Fargo, we are open to hear your stories and make it heard to our upper ups, so we can answer or reach the expectation of the city from Wells Fargo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.